And good evening and welcome back to another matchup here at Mean Green Village. I'm your host, Mercedes Zaragoza. I'm joined here with the lovely and beautiful Amanda Batchelder. Amanda, what do you think about this matchup today? We have Rice coming from Houston, traveling up North Texas to battle these Mean Green. What are you expecting here today?
Well, I'm really excited because this is conference opening home game for the Mean Green.
For both teams, it's their first conference game here, but it is the Mean Green's first home conference game.
I am really excited to see this Rice team because they're good. They are really good. We were looking at it earlier. They have 8 wins over this Mean Green squad for a record of 8-4 historically. But I think we're in for quite good volleyball today.
No, I definitely agree with you. The Rice team is good. And if you look on the Mean Green side, you'll notice the absence of the usual senior grad student setter, Kaylee Scopel, is not with the Mean Green tonight. So they're going to have to rely on Katie Butler and Casey Bortnam. Casey Bortnam, the other senior, has spent her entirety here at UNT playing for this Mean Green team. She's definitely earned it. She's, great player, great utility player, and Katie Butler's really young, and she's great to replace Bortnam and Scopel, so I'm excited to see what she does here tonight. And I believe that's 2 for Truly Levy here early on in the first set. And Amanda, I know you know this program, this Rice program. It's pretty old. Tell me about coaching staff a little bit.
So head coach Jenny Volp has been with the program for 18 years. She has really just led them to a bunch of successes.
I'm sorry, Truly Levy with a block here to gain UNT's 3rd point. Truly Levy is a 5'10 sophomore, definitely the shortest there on the front row when she's standing next to Hausler and Johnson.
Clearly it does not seem to matter.
No, that girl's got hops. That was a beautiful block. Happy to see Rhett Robinson back on the Mean Green court. She wasn't here last time.
Yes. Last time the Mean Green were at home, she, like Scopel this time, just had an unknown absence. She did join the team when they went to Illinois to play in the Redbird Classic. Doing quite some damage up there.
Oh, yeah. And Levy with a great save. And that is the outside. Their number 11, Nicole Lennon, leading Rice early on in this 2021 season with 143 kills.
That's a lot of kills.
That's a lot of kills.
That's like,
Not only that, that's a lot of swings because that's just what she put down.
Right.
And not what got dug up, maybe fell out. That's just what she put down. That girl is swinging, and I think we should expect a lot of feeding going to her on the outside. She's the only senior on the team. So I would expect maybe not even seeing her leave the floor. We'll see.
Very decorated, Nicole Lennon, in the 2021 spring season that Conference USA put on for volleyball. She ended up being AVCA 3rd team All-American, as well as a 3-time Conference USA Offensive Player of the Week, as well as a part of the CUSA preseason team, as well as 1st team All-Conference.
Very accomplished player here. This is a long rally. Wow, and Johnson will put it down. We saw, I think that first attack there came from Rhett Robinson, and we're going to get our first timeout here from Rice as UNT leads 6-1. But Rhett Robinson put that ball down from the back row, and we've talked about the structure here at UNT before. It hit libero number 5, Nia McCarnell's platform, and it kind of just shot up into the air and hit the ceiling. They were able to, kind of free ball it back over, but that just shows the advantage that UNT has practicing at this facility. They never, unless they have home games, they never leave this facility.
Exactly.
So, and that's a great thing to teach liberos and DSs and just players in general, that keeping the ball low makes you run a faster offense. So if you skyrocket that ball in the air, one, your setter's going to get disoriented, kind of looking up in the air for it. But, you know, you're not doing your team any favors because especially like a down ball or something, I would call that a back row attack, but you want to, it means that the other team is kind of out of whack on the other side. They're free balling it over. They're doing something like that because they can't set it up. So you kind of want to speed up that offense as much as possible. So, and, you know, so hopefully Rice kind of knows I got to absorb that energy, keep that ball low to the ground.
Well, there's a good chance that was part of what caused Rice to call for that timeout. Not only this quick lead by the UNT Mean Green, but also just watching the ceiling because, you know, we talk about it all the time. Not a lot of teams play in short ceilinged facilities.
I actually think that Rice plays in the Coliseum that they have out there.
Yes, they do play their home games at Tudor Fieldhouse in Houston, Texas.
Okay. And out to Lennon on the outside. Ibarra going to try to get a hand on it. Not enough.
A very key accomplishment of Lennon that I glossed over was she was also the 2021 spring season's Conference USA Player of the Year.
Nice. Ooh, a little miscommunication there between Levy and Robinson. And out there on the offside is number 10, Shaylee Shore, the 6'2" middle blocker over there hitting on the offside. Gets the best of Katie Butler. And we talked about it. I talk about it with Ana Ibarra all the time that she got beat to the outside of her body. And if you want to get beat, you want to get beat inside because then the rest of your teammates are there. The rest of your teammates aren't on the outside of the court where you're trying to reach for that ball. And so hopefully she kind of rides that line and moves inward. And a blocking duo of number 10, Shore, and Lennon, number 11, will put down Alicia Johnson. Score now all tied up. Rice shrinking that deficit early on in this first set. Butler to Robinson in the back row. An absolute bullet, but it's picked up. Lennon off the hands of Johnson. Out to Lennon again. Butler to Robinson in the back row. Beautiful. It's so great having a player like Rhett Robinson that can virtually hit anywhere because I don't know if you caught the block there, but especially on back row attacks, it's harder to block them. And usually only one person goes up. So you're limiting the opportunity for that ball to go over. And, I mean, they're expecting you to hit one of your three hitters in the front row, and then you got Rhett Robinson coming out swinging from the back row. Even though it's not really new now, it was. And on UNT's side, we got a newcomer in there. We got Sophia Hagstrom, the sophomore from Dallas, Texas, Belmont High School.
Transfer from Belmont University, spent her freshman season there.
Oh, excuse me, I guess that is it. Lennon's serve is picked up by Ibarra, and Butler will get them with the dunk. You know, I just saw slow motion over there on the Rice side because not to discredit her dump. That was a great dump by Katie Butler, but it wasn't the most it was pretty high up in the air. Like
it really just floated over there.
It did float over, and it kind of like, I don't know if it's just me, but it dropped so slowly, and they didn't get there.
Yeah,
which shows that is way open for UNT to hit that that hole, feeding that hole on Rice's side of the court. And number 10, Shore going back to serve. Picked up by Hagstrom to Robinson. UNT calling for a touch. I didn't really see it. I think the ball was behind her, so she got more of an arc on it, and it flew out. She didn't keep it in front of her. Butler out to McCrillis on the outside. Great save by Ibarra. Butler to Robinson. And that one's going to be Sahara Makrushka for Rice out of the middle, with Shore headed back to line once again. Falling short of Hagstrom. Shore's going to get the ace for Rice, and Coach Paoleo will call his first timeout here early on in set one. Rice now pulling forward. UNT having that early on start. We always talk about that about UNT, though. They get up early and then they let off the gas. This is not a team that you can let off the gas.
This is a little bit of a change, though, from what we've seen earlier this season, which was a lot of head-to-head, toe-to-toe matchups, point for point. And then typically what we've seen here has been UNT will take it away come, about point 10, 11. But as soon as Rice came back from that deficit.
Down by 5. Yeah, I think they were down by 5. I think it was a 6-1, and UNT was up, and they kind of battled for a little bit. Now Rice is up by 3. I think both of these teams are really good. And I think UNT has done a good job of building their preseason games to become prepared for conference this year. And this one's a big one. This one sets the stage. This one sets the tone going into conference, because these are two pretty feared teams in the conference. They're both really great programs, old programs that have been around for a while. So this is one of those matchups that you want to see. And so this will definitely set the tone for the rest of Conference USA for sure. And Shore's going to serve once again. Off the hands of Hagstrom. And once again, those ceilings
did not play in favor for the Mean Green right there. That basketball rim is deadly.
Hagstrom having some trouble there serve receiving, but Paoleo will keep her in.
These two teams were slated as number 1 and number 2 in preseason polls. Rice at number 1, North Texas at number 2, followed by UTSA, UTEP, UAB, Louisiana Tech, and Southern Miss to round out the Western Conference, or the Western Division.
Wow. Another great kill by Rhett Robinson on the outside. But what I love so much about that is that she swung line, but she didn't go in going line. She looked like she was going cross, and that was a hard hit. And she kind of just changed the motion of her arm to the side and just flicked her wrist to the side, and that's what did that hit. That's how strong that girl is. Anna Ibarra headed back to line to serve. And a big, giant 3-person block out of Butler, Hausler, and Robinson will give UNT another point, and Ibarra heading back to line to serve. An overpass attempt by Hausler. And it's Lennon out of the back row. Kind of taking a page out of UNT's book, using an outside hitter as a back row attacker like that, like we had seen early on in this game with Brett Robinson.
And just like that, the score is 12-15 with Rice in the lead.
Robinson will get that one after it flew out, but they're going to call a touch on that block. I think it was a little too fast for me to see, but hey, give it to him.
Well, it looks like there's going to be a challenge on the play.
And why not? You got the camera there.
Yeah.
Everybody's all dressed up, ready to go. Might as well.
As I was saying earlier, head coach for Rice, Jenny Volpe, has led the Owls to a lot of success, actually, including 6 NCAA championships, which are good for the only 6 of Rice's history. She's got a winning percentage of .637, which comes out to a .329-187 record. She also serves as the Conference USA representative on the AVCA Division I Head Coaches Committee.
Yeah, that Rice program is old. Like, it's old, it's developed, it's built up very nicely. And so is UNT's. I mean, Andrew Paleo has been here in Denton for a long time.
5-year difference between
that's not
these two.
I mean, both of their numbers are quite insane to be at one school. You know, to have that loyalty to one program, it's kind of cool to see. And let's just say I hope. I mean, I feel like Rhett Robinson's finding a lot of success on the back row, but is a little slow starting out on the front row. Do you know what I mean? Like, she's kind of swinging out. Like, that. This play that we're going over right now was because the ball went out, you know. So I hope she kind of gets to getting back up, keeping that ball in front of her, and because that's the problem. She's running up on it too much, and then it's behind her, and she can't, you know, you can't hit a ball behind you and it go down and be strong and everything. Let's talk about that that tournament that UNT just got off of, though, in out at Illinois State, playing
the Redbird Classic.
The Redbird Classic, yes.
Played.
So they just traveled back, ended up coming out on the losing end in their record. They went 1-2. And here in this game right now, they're going to call it in favor of UNT with Levy going back in for Hagstrom.
Took 2 of those 3 games in the Redbird Classic to 5 sets. Won against Illinois State 3-2, lost to Missouri 3-2, and then got swept by the Illini of Illinois 3-0.
That's a great program too. It's yeah.
I remember
really,
you
really good.
Yeah, we're very excited about that.
And Hausler with a single block. Lennon attempting to go up for that roll shot, that kind of little boop over the net, you know, from the back row. And Hausler said no.
Not today.
Not today, ma'am. Tight on the net. Giving it back to UNT. Now all tied up, 15-15. It is still set 1. This is a pretty lengthy set 1 so far. The rallies have been relatively long. No one's like hitting into the net that much. No one's not. And Robinson hitting literally that back corner. I'm pretty sure that was the last tip of that back corner is where that ball hit. Very impressive. UNT now taking the lead and Rice taking another timeout here. This is a good time for both coaches to kind of reassess early on in this first set and kind of mix up not as much people, but not as much people, but plays and where you want to hit the ball and be like, okay, well, the hitch is open, so we're going to run the hitch. You know, kind of like finish out. This is about the halfway point-ish of a game. So be like, okay, we're going to switch it up for this halfway, and then maybe you stick with that second and then switch halfway through, you know, trying to keep the other team on their toes, because if not, you're just going to have blockers sitting there. You'll be like, oh, Lennon only hits the 4. We've only seen her hit the 4. Try a piggyback. A piggyback with Lennon would be great.
It'll be interesting to see coming out of this timeout where the momentum goes, because it seems that whenever, at least because we've only seen 2 timeouts, 3 including this one, the team that calls the timeout seems to go on a little bit of a scoring run. They close that gap, they take the lead. So it'll be interesting to see if this Rice Owl team will be able to take the momentum back.
This UNT volleyball facility is very distracting to these commentators.
I was trying so hard.
Oh, it's great. It's
But
great here right now.
They're
And
screaming,
so
living
nice.
on a prayer.
I know. It's so nice to see things like this, though, after COVID, seeing the jazz band back in the stands, and there's dancers and cheerleaders here cheering on these girls. So it's really nice to see that back in swing. And we have number 5, Mia McCarnell, going back to serve. And in my notes, I had her as she's leading in digs, yet she is not in the libero jersey today. It is Elizabeth LeBou that is in the libero jersey tonight. Out to Lennon on the outside. And that's a giant hole that ball just fell in. That was giant. And it kind of like that other one, is slow motion, fell to the ground.
Right.
Both teams are on their heels. They're waiting for each other to swing away and hit something big. So maybe tipping it or shooting it to the corners or dumping it in the middle is the best route right now, because the other team is just on their heels because they're expecting you to swing away.
So I'm not sure if you just saw the call that was made.
Oh, yeah. No, it was definitely, in my opinion.
I feel like a challenge should have been called on that.
For sure, because the other team front row can't jump with the setter. So she well, one, they can't jump with her, and two, she was on the ground, and she could have gotten to that ball, and they went over. So, yeah, that definitely should have been an over.
And
another timeout being called. This is, once again, a lengthy first set. Score 19-7. Rice leading, and it's been very back and forth. What do you think about this set so far?
I think it's been interesting. You see, the Mean Green came out, guns a-blazing, and came out to a very quick 6-1 lead. Then we had that first timeout called by the Rice Owls, and then we saw them pull ahead, and then Palileo called a timeout. Mean Green pulled ahead, and I think that's why the timeout was called. Seems like that's kind of a working tactic right now.
Oh yeah, 100%.
We talked about
icing out
the
servers.
The server.
Yeah, the pitcher. Yeah, the pitcher. No, icing out servers, coaches' points. Yes, it is a tactic. Mostly the most times I've seen it is if the other team's on the serving run. Like if the girl's got a hot hand and she's like already got like 6 aces on you. You're like, all right, let's call timeout. Try to cool off that hand there and reset. But
well, because sometimes it's a feeling thing. It's, I hit it here every other time, and it's obviously been working for me, and so then you're so focused on what your coach is saying or what your teammates are saying that you don't have that feeling anymore.
That block is insane. That Rice block, nothing is getting past that. It's huge. It's strong. And another beautiful dump out of Katie Butler. I was kind of trying to figure out what Palileo wanted to do with his setter situation here tonight without Scopel, but it looks like Butler is just fitting right into that Scopel rotation. They're running a 5-1 setter rotation, meaning that the setter plays all the way around. She, I don't believe, she's not matched up with Lennon right now, which is good because she would be blocking on the offside, and you have Nicole Lennon on the outside. She'd have to block Lennon, and that's a lot to go up on block, come down, find where the ball is, and that's why it's really important for these liberos and the DSs to get passes to the setter, because this girl, she's jumping on block, she gets down, she's like, where's the ball? Because that's her actual position is to set the ball.
Right.
So it's really important when you're running a 5-1 that you have reliable defensive players. And Butler out to Robinson again. Amanda, did you see her shoulders? her shoulders were pointed cross, which is why I said before, her shoulders were pointed cross. Everything that gives her momentum was pointed cross, yet she hit that ball so hard line.
Right.
And that's so amazing to me because in order to do that, her hand had to be like above her head, and she just like flicked her wrist.
Yeah.
And that ball hit so hard. And Sophia Hagstrom will go back to the line to serve. And Lennon again on the outside, but a great dig by Ibarra. And they're wondering why the rest of the back row didn't chase it down. That ball could have been saved.
UNT coaching staff was very upset.
Yes. Because
rightfully so.
Yeah,
rightfully
why are you going to stop running? And if I was on Ibarra, I would also be upset. Why are you going to stop running when I just got a really good... That was a good up for that hit. That was a hard hit. And Rhett Robinson once again. Aaliyah Goldera will come in to serve for Alicia Johnson in the back row. So looking at this UNT front row and looking at where Johnson is and the opposites and everything, Rhett Robinson is playing middle blocker right now. We've seen her a lot on the outside. That's what she's labeled as an outside hitter. But she can also hit from the outside. And you know what? She can also hit from the back row.
She said, I will hit from wherever you put me.
Well, her career started as a middle blocker, I believe. So she's very well versed in that position, but we haven't seen her a lot in that position because you have Hausler. You have, well, now she's switching back to a hitter now that Hausler goes back in on the front row. And Ibarra back to the line to serve for UNT. We're going to call a touch, and that is number 19, Sahara Maruska. She is pretty close to home playing at Rice from Houston, Texas. She is a 5'8" freshman hitting outside. And that girl also has hops. That was a very high ball she just hit.
Yeah. So this has been the opposite of how most games here in the Mean Green Village have gone this season. Normally it's point for point to start the match. Very rarely has it been point for point to end the match or the set.
No, and I think that just kind of shows the difference between, I mean, in my opinion, your demeanor, how you think of how the game will go should not change, whether it's preseason or conference, but this is conference. This is like no more playing around, lights out, we got to go. And especially the seniors,
Oh, of course.
You have Kaylee Scopel, who's been with the program forever and been a star setter forever. Beautiful tip by Truly Levy to get that one for North Texas. But going back and Anna Ibarra, the libero, and Casey Bortnam, you know, they want to play lights out.
Right. No, you want to go out with a bang in your senior season. So it's, you know, it's understandable.
Be Lennon on the outside. Butler to Robinson on the back row. Robinson with a roll shot is picked up. Butler to Robinson again. Lennon picks up. Out to Lennon on the outside, and Robinson just unable to wrangle that ball back into the court. Giving it back to Rice. And number 10, Shaylee Shore, makes an appearance back in the front row with libero. Number 8, Elizabeth LeBlue, still serving. Robinson on the back row, off LeBlue's, off LeBlue's platform. LeBlue out to Lennon, getting that one for Rice.
That was a very crazy first set. And if that's how the first set's going to go, then we're in for a wild ride today.
Oh, yeah, we're going to be here for a while tonight. For sure. I think it's I think it'll go to 5.
Yeah,
Personally.
that's fair.
Yeah, all right. Well, we'll be back with that second set. Stick with us. And welcome back for this second set. We are still here in the Mean Green Village at the Mean Green Volleyball Complex with this matchup. The first conference game for both of these teams, it's Rice versus UNT. UNT and Rice both ranked high up there in the Conference USA West. Rice ranked 1 after preseason and UNT ranked 2. So we kind of talked about it. This is kind of what's going to set the stage for Conference USA. This is a great first one, but half of me is kind of like, I wish they played them later on because I think they can get way more seasoned and kind of ready to go. Maybe play a not so high up there, maybe not 1 and 2 matchup first game of the season, right?
I think I disagree with you because I would rather play the top team first, get it out of the way, and then if they lose today and tomorrow, then they have the rest of the season to buff up their record. You don't have to look at it and be like, oh, well, we've, had X record this whole season, and now we have to go play Rice.
Yeah. But I think their record would have been good going into Rice. Right. I think it's tough because one of these really, really good teams are going to walk away with a loss on their first game. That's what I mean by that.
No, that's fair and that's understandable, because it'll go to kind of whoever loses this is going to come out a little bit like, man, really? This is how we start our conference play, and very rarely are they going to remember, oh, well, we were ranked number 1 or we were ranked number 2, so this isn't, it's not like we got beat by whoever's at the bottom of that list.
And Hausler will head back to the line to serve. Picked up with LeBou. Out to Lennon. Picked up by Robinson, and the ball was still alive. That's the thing. The ball was still alive, and UNT players were walking in to high-five their teammates.
No one was there for it.
No one. The ball was still alive. It could have been played still. Robinson to Butler, back to Robinson with a single block by Shore, number 10, to put her down. Rice, number 8, LeBeau, serving. There's a little bit of miscommunication here. I don't think I really believe what's going on.
I don't think I understand.
I see. Okay. One, all I saw was a player talking to the coach, and that's why they were waiting.
Huh.
That's not a good enough reason
No.
to be
No,
waiting.
it really isn't, because normally they do that all the time, and it's not that big of a deal.
And another one out for Robinson. Wondering what's going on here. And you could see Paoleo kind of being like, hey, you know.
What's happening?
Not what's happening, but hey, like, calm down type of thing. Like, you don't have to swing at everything. Just kind of like, you know, work up to it maybe. And Lennon just bashing in between the UNT block will give one for her team. And LeBeau still serving. Rice now leading 5-2 in this second set. McCrillis hitting that angle, but Lennon is there, and Lennon returns. Out to Levy off the net, to Lennon once again. Off of the hands of Levy and Johnson. Butler to Johnson. Off the hands of LeBeau, and Rice free balls it back over. UNT using it out to Levy on the outside. Doesn't clear the net. It's going to be Rice's point with LeBeau going back to the line to serve. I think she has about 4. I think she's been back to that line probably, actually, this is probably the 5th time. She's been on the run the entire time.
Way more than the Mean Green want her to be.
For sure. And Shore will give it to Butler. UNT scrambling here. Paoleo calling the first timeout of this set. Score 7-2. Rice up early. This is about flipped what we saw from the first set. First set, UNT was up about 6-1 before Rice started getting on their run and coming back. And I just think that that's because UNT started with the serve first. Rice is doing a great job on getting up early and kind of just racking them in and not letting them come close. And, you know, with the program, these girls are good. These girls are really, really good. Both teams are really, really good, but it's also a mind game, and it's a chemistry game, like a chemistry between players and stuff and how long they've been there. And right now I think Rice is winning the chemistry game for me. They look way more solid. They look like, they've been playing with each other for years.
Which is interesting to mention considering there's only one senior on that Rice team. So they are a much younger team than this Mean Green squad who, most of the women on the court are not freshmen, not sophomores either. They're mostly juniors and seniors, upperclassmen.
Yeah, I believe the only one that's seen the court tonight that is a freshman is our setter, Katie Butler.
Yeah.
Katie Butler is a freshman, which is great for Andrew Paoleo. Like I talked about before, you have the loss of Kaylee Scopel after this season, and then hey, you know what you got? 3 more seasons.
Exactly.
I doubt she'll ever redshirt again. So 3 more seasons with or grad too.
Yeah.
You never know. So that's great setup for UNT's program. And that'll be number 17, Lola Fjord.
Rice now on an 8-0 scoring run.
Wow. 9-2 early on the second set. Robinson picks up. Robinson in the back row again, and LeBeau gets it. Out to Lennon on the outside. Ibarra's there. McCrillis to help out. Robinson roll shots it over. Out to Lennon again. And you know what? That's just like Nicole Lennon is so good. She's just so good.
Very clearly why she won Player of the Year last year.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. She's hitting hard. She's hitting accurate. She's hitting spots. And she's playing defense. I feel like all I say is Lennon all the time here on this broadcast. And she's a great player. And Shore's middle hit will be out.
9-point scoring run before they lost it.
And Hagstrom coming back up to the line to serve has a doozy in for her at this 10-3 score here. And Shore gets that one off of Ibarra's platform with number 2 Tia Grippo going back in and serving. Rice did not let UNT get on a run. That not at all.
No.
And there's like one and done. We used to be like, all right, that's the one.
Point.
That's the one. Yeah, that's the one. We're not going to let it happen again. And Rhett Robinson decided 2 was enough. No more 9-point runs.
Yeah, no, that's.
And Aaliyah Galdera headed back to line to serve.
This is quite the opposite of what we saw in that first set, where it was. I mean, it was a big run and then they'd catch up, and then big run and then they'd catch up, but. This one, it looks like it's a run and then, a point or two, and then a run and then a point or two.
And number 19, Sahara Marushka, going back in. And if you didn't catch that, Nicole Lennon's hit was out, but I believe the down ref found UNT in the net. Something at the net illegal happened to give it back to Rice. And another timeout here for Paoleo. Score now 13-4. Rice, I wouldn't say it's flip-flop from the first one because UNT wasn't up by, I think by this time they were pretty neck and neck again. But Rice just, like I said, there's something to be said with a mentality of like when the other team gets the side out, you're going to be like, all right, that girl is not going to serve more than one ball at me.
Right.
That's what we used to think about. It's like everyone gets to serve once, but you're only going to go back to that line one time.
Yeah.
No runs. Because runs are what get you.
Right.
In the mental state, in the, it's just like the other team gets on a run, you're like, dang, you just can't catch a break.
Yeah, that's when mistakes happen because it's, she's back there again. Oh, we got to,
And then that face is in your head, and yeah.
There are a lot of people that are like, that will say that repetition is the mother of learning, but whenever repetition is you on the losing end of that, it's hard.
It does the same exact thing, but for the wrong reasons.
Exactly.
And both teams headed back to the court now after this timeout. Score 13-4 with none other than Rice's superstar, Nicole Lennon, headed back to the line to serve. The outside hitter, Amanda mentioning that she was Conference Player of the Year for CUSA. A very accomplished player, and Rhett Robinson will get the best of her. Once again, I don't think she's hit cross yet tonight. I've seen her go in cross and then switch it up, like I've said probably 2 other times on this broadcast. But that one was no different. She went in looking like she was going cross, turned line last second. It's very successful. I don't know why you would stop because it's so successful.
It's not like they figured it out yet. If Rice had already figured it out, then
they would have blocked her.
Exactly. It would have been in a different situation by now.
Yeah. And once again, Rice getting the ball back very quickly with number 10, Shaylee Shore, headed back to the line. She is also a freshman from right down the road, Prosper, Texas. 6'2" middle blocker. She played at Rock Hill High School, making her debut playing at the D1 Rice. That gap is so big. If I could take a picture of that and like show it, everyone was on the right side over there. There's no one there. So that's so smart of her to go right there. And off of Hagstrom's platform.
That was surprisingly fast off of or with a lot of power. Maybe not a lot of speed, but there was a lot of power behind that.
Off of her hand, off of the serve. Oh, yeah. It doesn't look like it, but once it crosses that plane. And once again, Robinson's hit is out. Giving the ball to Rice once again, and Shaylee Shore going back to the line. Casey Bortnam coming in, hoping to mix it up and make a difference here. Picked up by Hagstrom. Butler to Hausler. Finally, we're seeing that infamous hitch from Sarah Hausler that she loves to run with Kaylee Scopel. You know what? Katie Butler is doing a great job at, successing Kaylee Scopel. And because it's hard when a setter leaves, because you build that chemistry with everyone else. And wow! Truly, Levy with a line shot, I believe got the face of Tia Grippo. Just absolute power there. And Robinson will get the ace from LeBou. Score 17-8. UNT now going on a run. Rice so close to taking the second set away from UNT.
There's been a noticeable momentum shift, even if it has only been a four-point scoring run. There is energy back in this gym. There is energy from this team on the court.
Yeah, no, UNT definitely got some liveliness back in there. Their fans are back awake again. I think I don't know. It's either going to be 5 sets or it's going to be 3 and done or 4 and done if UNT can come back here.
That's every option.
No, but what I mean, it's like, okay. I did just say that. You're right.
You said every option.
I don't know. I feel like either Rice is going to take it lights out or it's going to be like a long battle for like a fifth set. Long. Like, I mean, girl, we're going to be here until midnight type of thing. That's what I feel coming on. Both teams just like scratching and itching for every point. Did you know that an average rally in volleyball is 7 seconds? Okay, yes. I have said that to you. Yeah, it's 7 seconds. And these rallies have not been 7 seconds.
Much longer than 7 seconds.
Yeah. Robinson's serve is in the net, giving the ball back to Rice. UNT, if they're going to walk away with this, they have to go on a run, and they have to do it fast. I talked about that 17-point mark. 17 is kind of make or break. If you're not already up, you better get up fast because it's about to be over. And UNT is way down here. But Katie Butler hits an offhand. Actually, I believe because she is right-handed, that was a same hand on the net, dump behind her back. Very difficult to do, especially if you're right-handed, because your hand is so close to that net, right. Someone can go up and just reject you.
Yeah, exactly.
But that was a really, really sly. She kind of just went, and tipped it right over the back of her shoulder. And another one for Rice will make the score 19-10. Rice only needing 5 points to close this one out and then be up 2 sets on UNT. Lennon tries for the overpass, doesn't make it. Robinson in the back row.
Great recovery on that play.
And Johnson will put it down with an overpass block. A little bit of a collision happened over there between 5 McCardle and 8 LeBou in the back row over there. And that'll be 16 Anoda Adakunnel. And Butler with another attempt at a dump is now picked up by Rice. Butler to Robinson in the back row. And Johnson will put it down once again, making the score now 12-20. UNT down by 8 here at their home complex to kick off the conference.
That had to be one of the longest rallies we have seen tonight. Like I said earlier, we're in for a wild ride tonight.
Butler out to Robinson. Lennon with the tip is picked up by McCrillis. McCrillis hitting that inside 4, and Johnson will put it down. And Johnson is denied by Shaylee Shore, the middle blocker from from Prosper, Texas, we were just talking about. Single block on Alicia Johnson. Number 2, Tia Grippo going back to the line to serve. Tia, a 5'6" junior from Newport Beach, California.
This Rice team pulls from all over the country. They've got 9 players from the great state of Texas. But as a private school, not surprising that they, don't only pick locally or don't only pick from the state. They do kind of look all over because,
they can.
It's a different recruiting process, different recruiting deal.
And giving it to Rice, it's going to be 22-14. Way different than what we saw last set. At this point, they were going neck to neck. It was 24-24 at one point.
But also not nearly as big of a gap as we might have anticipated it being.
I never really anticipated a giant gap between these two teams. They're both pretty good, Hausler back in for UNT. Butler to Hausler on the hitch. They run it again and once again find success. I wonder why. Maybe feed her on the hitch. And a successful dump by setter Carly Graham will put it down. Carly is also very close to home, playing at Rice from Spring, Texas, over there in the direction of Houston, South Texas. Very, very, very steamy and very humid.
Very humid down there.
Probably
Texas.
The most humid place I've ever been, Houston, Texas.
Home, Spring, Texas. Very heads-up play from Ibarra right there.
Robinson's serve flies out. Robinson kind of off tonight. Not the usual Rhett Robinson we're used to seeing, and sometimes it just works out that way. Robinson picks up the serve. Butler to Hausler. Ball still alive. Giving it to number 16, Adunco. And giving the second set to Rice. Rice now up 2-0 here at the Mean Green Complex in their first game here of the weekend. First game of Conference USA. We'll be back with that third set. Stick around. And welcome back. We're here with set 3 here in Denton, Texas at the volleyball complex in the Mean Green Village. Rice coming up quick. This is the first game of the conference. It means a lot. We talked about how it sets the tone for the conference. Both teams very high up there on the West. But Rice kind of coming out here and taking control from the UNT and making this their house. It's 2-0. But breaking down that first set looked very different than the second. It's very, very...
Rice controlled that almost the entire way through.
The second set?
Yes.
Yes, but the first one, it was neck and neck, and they were kind of going back and forth. That's where I was kind of like, we're going to be here forever. This can go 5 sets.
Oh,
but then Rice came out and kept them underneath 15, if that. Well, the last score, I believe, so the last score was 25-17, but the score before that was 27-25. They went overtime, or they went over points. So UNT needing to do something crucial here to stay alive, or we're all going home with Rice getting a sweep here. But they will battle again on Sunday at 2 p.m.
Yes. So it's not going to be a one-and-done thing. It's not like this will be a single, whichever team comes out of this, it won't be a 1-0 or a 0-1. You do have the potential tomorrow to come back and, kind of regroup and kind of come out on the right foot.
Yes, and that will be broadcasted wherever you're watching this right now. Tomorrow at 2 p.m. is when that one starts.
Conference USA TV as well as YouTube, Mean Green Sports.
And Rhett Robinson, unable to get to that one, will give the ball back to number 8, the libero, Labou. Labou has gone on quite the serving run today, but her first serve is out here in this third set. UNT leading early on 2-1. I know that's all right. That's 2 points, Mercedes, but it means a lot here early on. Let's talk about some stats from so far here in this matchup. We have the 2 leaders. On the Rice side, it's obviously Nicole Lennon, the senior, with 13 kills. And on the UNT side, it's Rhett Robinson with 12.
Which is not surprising on either side.
No.
Right. That's one of those to be expected type things. Nicole Lennon, we've mentioned almost 100 times today. And Rhett Robinson is just a staple around here.
Yes. But if you look over to the side, sure, that's the kills, errors. Rhett Robinson's is also leading her team in errors with 5 errors, and Nicole Lennon only having 1. So their hitting percentages look a bit different. And Nicole Lennon leading with .429 and Rhett Robinson with .194.
That even just going down now.
And Ibarra serving for UNT. It's picked up to Shore. Butler out to McCrillis with a great push. Lennon gets the best of Ibarra. You heard me say it before. She's turning her platform out of the court, and you never want to do that because, hey, all your friends are in the court. That's where you want it to go. So it's really important when you're playing that left back position to kind of like just view everything behind your back as I'm not even going to reach back there. I'm going to keep everything in front of me.
One of those. As much support as our fans will give us, they cannot help here.
And McCrillis getting on that hitch, ran by Shore, blocked her, and then Shore went up again, and they said no touch, so we'll go to Rhett Robinson. And Rice is found out of rotation. That was not the hand sign for out of rotation, but I'm pretty sure that's what that was. So the reason why teams get out of rotation and stuff, and it's kind of like those things that when I was playing, we got out of rotation all the time. because you don't know the sport that well
Right.
when you learn. But it's kind of like how I was talking about watching college TV and being like, college players still miss serves because it's such a. But it does happen because you manipulate the positions and stuff. But you have to remember, hey, look who's in front of you, look who's behind you, and make sure it's the people you went in with.
Right.
So if not, that's a point to the other team. One time I ended a tournament at like out of rotation.
Oh my
It was
goodness.
really bad.
I cannot believe.
And Lennon just coming out of the back row and hitting that back line. Short service picked up by Robinson. Hauser trying to run the hitch again, but flying out. Giving it back to Rice. Score now all tied up 6-6. Shore service picked up. Butler with the dump again. Using that offhand, the outside hand, the furthest away from the net to kind of catapult it down. It was a great dump. McCrillis back to line to serve for UNT. Service picked up by Grippo. Out to Makushka. And it'll be number 19, Sahara Marushka, to get that one for Rice. And number 22, the setter, Carly Graham, headed back to the line to serve. Beautiful service picked up by McCrillis to Robinson in the back row. Off the hands of Hausler. Back to a Duncanley. Not enough though. UNT takes that one, giving it back to Sarah Hausler to serve. UNT pulling ahead here, even if it's just by one, but 8-7.
It's a good morale boost at that point, seeing as they lost the first set and then as badly as they were beaten that second set. Little victories.
So they called number 17, Lola Fjord's ball out by the down and the up ref, but the line judge in the corner sees a touch on it, and they're going to end up giving it to Rice. With number 5, Nia Cardell, going in for number 19, Marushka. Service picked up by Robinson on the net, and Butler gets to dump that one. It's picked up and not enough for Robinson. Number 5, McCardell, still serving. McCardell leading, going into this matchup between UNT, was leading in digs with 146 digs so far in this 21 season. However, she is not in the libero jersey tonight. Maybe tomorrow though. Maybe they mix it up.
Well, it seems like this Owl team is confident and very, able to adapt. It's probably also not a very big change for them. So I wouldn't be surprised.
Wow, number 17, Lola Ford, puts it down on the UNT side. There's just something so satisfying about just a clean hit. Nothing touches it. It's just like your hand, the ball, and the ground. That's it.
Boom.
Boom. Ball still alive, and Ibarra kind of just punches it over. And back to Fjord. It's picked up by Butler. Out to Robinson on the offside. Flies out. UNT kind of coming in for a huddle there, but Palileo is going to take a timeout. Score 12-9. This is what we saw. I believe this was an exact score in the first one. UNT had the early lead 6-1, and then Rice battled back and ended up getting the lead with 12-9. So early on here, but pretty late in this game, with Rice only needing one set to go home tonight and refresh for another matchup tomorrow. But going back to our leaders, second below them by almost half, really. So Truly Levy coming out here and hitting outside and absolutely dominating. And then leading, whereas it comes to blocks, we have Shaylee Shore on the Rice side with 3 blocks, and Truly Levy on UNT side with 3 blocks. We talked about she's not a middle blocker. She's actually kind of short for being an outside hitter, but that girl's got hops. And she's leading in blocks. She's tied up with Sarah Hausler, who's probably the #1 middle blocker on UNT side. So that just shows that, I mean, a lot of hitters forget that their job is to also play defense, and they got to get out there on block, and sometimes they're slow. But Truly Levy has not been letting up on defense there. And number 8, LeBou.
I think it helps throw other teams off that she is only 5'10", so when she jumps,
that girl floats.
Yeah.
And Robinson going up. It's hard to stop that Rice block. And Shore giving it back to LeBou. Robinson on the outside, now swinging outside. Sophia Hagstrom going in for Levy.
It'll be an interesting move. We saw Hagstrom struggle a little bit in that first set.
And she's, Palileo has kept her in. Wants to see her battle, and she's been doing a pretty good job since that first set, kind of becoming comfortable on the court. Rice still leading by 4 here, 14-10. Can totally take this whole thing away. Number 17, Lola Ford. Her serve flies out, giving it back to UNT, and Sarah Hausler back in. Ibarra going back to serve. Back to Shore on the hitch, gets the best of McCrillis, giving another one to Rice, and Nicole Lennon going back to the line to serve. Number 11, the only senior here on this Rice roster. And what a star she is. Amanda mentioning that she had achieved Conference USA Player of the Year a couple of years ago. Ball still alive here. Another pretty long rally. Amanda, these rallies have been long.
Yeah.
Like, both teams do not want to let the ball drop. Both teams have great work ethic. Really good. They're not lazy. Both these teams are very scrappy. They like to go for the balls that no one thinks they'll get up. You know, so these are very long rallies, and we're starting to see a lot more missed serves here from both teams. Rhett Robinson headed back to the line to serve. It scores 16-12 with Rice taking 2 sets from UNT already.
3 serve errors apiece.
Wow. I don't think there was one in that first set. But that's as you go along and coaches start to give you more difficult spots, you're going to miss it.
Yeah.
Because we talked about it before, at this high of level, just serving the ball over the net is not enough. You have to target people.
That was going straight for head coach Andrew Palileo.
Oh, yeah.
That felt personal.
And Lennon is the one to swing that one out. Robinson's serve, no good. We just talked about service errors and stuff, but it looked like she was going for a low serve, maybe a short serve. We saw Sarah Hausler miss one by a lot, actually, but you could tell that she was going for that short serve, and Ibarra just barely picking up that short serve, just served to her. Robinson's pass over the net. And what a great fake out by a Duncanley. Going for the hitch, looks like she's gonna go up and swing away, and then just kind of tips right in front of Ana Ibarra. And McCrillis going back to serve. Out to Marushka, sorry. And Bortnam back in for UNT with Carly Graham on the Rice side going back to serve, but Paleo's going to call a timeout.
A 3-point game right now.
But late in the set.
That's true.
Past that 17 mark. You said it, they're only down by 3. Way better position than they were in last time. Still, it's late, and
right.
all they need is just 7 points. Goes by so fast.
Oh, I know.
And so that's all they got. So, and if I was Rice, I'd be like, I want to go home, or not go home. I want to go back to the hotel. I want to sleep.
This would be the 3rd time that Rice has swept the Mean Green.
And I didn't go in thinking that this was going to be a sweep at all. And I don't think it's really a sweep. I think both teams are battling really, really well. I think that Rice has a lot more power just
right.
because you put Nicole Lennon next to Rhett Robinson. Like, who's better? They're both kind of the same, but Lennon is playing better than Robinson
right.
tonight.
Going back and looking at how they've fared in the past, all the way back to 2018, Rice has won every matchup against this Mean Green squad, so that's 5 straight wins for Rice. And going back to when Andrew Paleo took over this team, it's back to that same, 8 wins for Rice, 4 wins for UNT.
We're coming out of the timeout 18-15. And Ana Ibarra having a great attempt at a save, but no good. Rice 15-19 here, leading 2-0. Getting the chance to close this out for the night. Carly Graham, the setter, serving. And Graham gets another ace. Gonna pull Bortnam to put Robinson back in, just giving Graham something else to look at, shaking it up. And that's what Andrew Paleo has a great way of teaching on the bench, showing his athletes once they come out, like, hey, this is why I pulled you. This is why I did. And, sometimes it's not personal. It's nothing that
right.
you're doing.
No.
It's like I want to give them a better picture or something else to look at.
Right.
And limit the chance of them acing you again.
Exactly. And in a sport like volleyball, it can't be personal. You want your team to succeed. This is not I need my numbers to look good. This is we're wanting to win.
Yeah, it has to be a selfless game,
exactly.
for sure. And UNT will finally get it back at 21-16. Down by 5 now. Not impossible, but not the best situation. Hausler to help out with Levy getting it over. And then Maruska hits it out, giving the ball back to Hausler. UNT shortening that gap, shortening that point deficit. picked up by Lennon. Out to Maruska. Again, swinging out, almost hitting fans. And they're going to call a timeout.
Both of these teams coming into this this matchup this weekend very differently. Last weekend, the Mean Green finished up their time in Illinois in the Redbird Classic against Illinois. And Rice comes into this just recently taking up #1 University of Texas, the Longhorns. So,
excuse me, what?
Yeah.
How many sets? I would love to see the stats on that game. That's, if you're talking about good programs,
University
wow.
of Texas.
Texas is a insane Texas, Oklahoma, Nebraska, same thing. They're so my dad travels, and he traveled to Lincoln for work, and he wanted to go see a volleyball game, and his coworker was like, hey man, that's the hottest ticket in town. Like, it's hard to get into games like that.
That's fair.
Yeah.
So against #1 Texas, just this past week, they were swept 0-3 with a score of 14-25 in all 3 sets that they played in.
Great program. Great. These are 2 great programs in front of us. That is a great program.
A couple of similarities on the schedule. The Mean Green will look to take on Baylor.
Also great program.
On the 6th
really excited for that one.
On the 6th of October. This Rice program took them on the 16th of September, getting swept by them.
And Johnson will get that block. UNT just chipping away here. When Hausler began to serve, score was 21-17, and now shortening that gap. They're just 2 points away from evening it up. Rice now up 22-19. Just needing 3 points to close this night out here. Get some rest and do it all again tomorrow at 2 p.m. here in Mean Green Village. If you would like to come back and watch on whatever you are watching it on, it will be broadcasted at 2 p.m. when game starts.
Another similarity between these 2 schedules is McNeese State. Mean Green opened their 2021 season with a game against McNeese State, losing that in 5 sets, 3-2.
And number 17, Lola Fjord on the offside will get the best of Katie Butler. UNT just trying to scratch back here. Rice so close to closing this night out with LeBou, a server that UNT does not want to see when the score looks like this. McCrillis to help out. Butler to Robinson, off the hands of the block. It's saved. Out to Lennon. Another one you don't want on front row at this point of the game. But here it is, Rice's game point here.
Honestly, this is exactly where Rice wants to be.
It's a heck of a way to start out the season. No doubt about it. Butler to Robinson. Out to Lennon. And that'll be it. Rice closing it out here. First game of the weekend, first conference game. Rice will walk away up 1-0 and UNT down 0-1. We will be back here tomorrow at 2 p.m. to broadcast the second game. We hope that you have a safe night and safe travels, and come visit us again tomorrow.